Moving on to 9.2, finding principal rate and time. We learned the formula I equals PRT. But similar to when we were looking at base times rate equals part, we can modify the formula. We'll create this little graphic to help us figure out how to solve for other unknown variables. So as an example, we know how to figure out the I. The question is well, if you have the I, but you don't have the P, can you figure that out? The answer to that question is obviously yes. We can use basic algebra to try to isolate the unknown variable, and or we can use this little graphic that will help us solve for how we come up with the right formula. If we plot this out, P times R times T, this becomes the bottom half of the circle. P times R times T, that all equals I equals PRT. And then if one of these are missing, so let's say, for example, we're missing the P, we'll pull that out, and what's remaining is I divided by RT. I divided by RT. So in order to solve for P, we get I divided by RT. Gilbert Construction Company borrows funds of 10% for 54 days to finish building a home. Find the principal that results in interest of $1,560. Go ahead and solve. Let's go ahead and plug in for the variables that we do know. We're looking for P. P equals I divided by RT, or R times T. So this is the formula we need to fill in the blank. P is the unknown variable at this point in time. We do know what I is. I is $1,560. That was given in the problem. Interest of $1,560. We know that R is 10%, 0.1. We know that T, well, T is going to be equal to 54 days divided by 360. So the numerator is going to be 1560. 1560 sits at the top of the fraction. That's the I. And we're going to divide it by RT, R times T. So let's take 0.1 and multiply it by 0.15. And if we solve for that, 1560 divided by 0.015, that gives us 104,000. So P is equal to $104,000. Moving on to the next problem. On February 2nd, Ebony Johnson took a short-term loan to pay her college tuition. The loan is due to be repaid on April 15th, when Johnson expects to receive an income tax refund. The interest on the loan is $93.60 at a rate of 6.5%. Find the principal, or i.e. the amount borrowed. Go ahead and try to solve, and we'll work on it together. First thing we need to do is figure out how many days are sitting between April 15th and February 2nd. Let's do that down here. So on February 2nd, we're trying to figure out how many days are in February. Well, we know the total number of days is 28, and we're going to subtract 2 days that have already gone by for this month. So in February, there are 26 days. We're looking for, well, we're trying to get over to April 15th. So now we'll look at March. There's 31 days in March. And then in April, well, it's April 15th, so there's going to be 15 days there. Let's go ahead and add 26 plus 31 plus 15. The total number of days that we're trying to solve for is 72 days. 72 days. Ebony Johnson took a short-term loan out from February 2nd to April 15th. That means she borrowed money for 72 days. Now that we have the T, the time, or we have the numbers that we can use to compute the T, the time, now we can go back to our formula that we used in the prior problem. P equals I divided by RT, or R times T. In the problem, it gives us I, the interest amount, is $93.60. The rate, 6.5%, 0.065. The T, well, we figured out the number of days. We'll scroll down here again just to make sure we got it. 72 days. There's 72 days between February 2nd and April 15th. So let's go back up. We're using ordinary. So we're going to take 72 and we're going to divide that by 360. So we have the I, 9360, the rate, 0.065, and the T is 0.2, and that's computed by taking 72 divided by 360. We can carry over the formula here, I, 9360, that's the numerator. The denominator is R times T, RT, R times T. So 0.065 multiplied by 0.2 is going to give us 0.013. Now we have the formula I divided by RT. Now the numbers are here. So 93.6 divided by 0.013 is equal to 7,200. The question is how much was borrowed? The answer is $7,200. The last two problems we've worked on, we didn't know what the P is, and so we solved for the unknown variable. But we can use this little graphic in order to solve for other areas, including the R and the T. Let's focus on the R at this point in time. If you pull the R out of this little graphic, you're going to left with I divided by PT. So R is equal to I divided by PT. Let's see if we can solve for that. An exchange student from the United States living in Paris deposits $10,000 in US currency in a French bank for 45 days. When she has to pay her tuition fees for the year, find the rate if the interest is $18.13 in US currency. Go ahead and pause and see if you can solve. Reviewing the problem, we have an exchange student from the United States living in Paris, deposits $10,000. Deposits $10,000. That sounds to me like the P, so I'm going to go ahead and plug the P. The new formula we're looking at is R equals I divided by P times T, or PT. We have the principal, $10,000. 45 days is the T, so we're going to use 45 and we're going to divide it by 360. And the amount of interest, or I, is $18.13. We now have our interest. We'll carry this over to the actual formula here. I is on top. R, we're trying to solve for R, so I is on top, I is on top. And PT, P and T are here, so we'll go ahead and take the 10,000 and multiply it by the 0.015, and we come up with 1,250. So the answer to the question is what is the R? It's 0.014504. We could really conclude that this is 1.45%. They didn't go so far. They just left it at 0.014504. Take a look at the next problem. Blaine Plumbing kept extra cash of $86,500 in an account from June 1st to August 16th. Find the rate if the company earned $365.22. Find the rate if the company earns $365.22 in interest during this period of time. Round to the nearest tenth of a percent. You'll need to go ahead and figure out how many days we're working with. and then solve for the R. First thing we need to do is figure out, well, how many days are we working with? So it appears this loan began on June 1st. Now there are 30 days in June, but we're going to go ahead and subtract 1 day because we're already into that. So there are 29 days in June. For July, there are a total of 31 days. And then for August, it appears that went all the way to the 16th day. So if we add 29, 31, and 16 together, the total number of days, is 76. Now we have everything we need to go ahead and solve for the R. We have the I, the P, the T. We just figured out what we needed for the T. So the I is 365.22. The P is 86,500. You see where I'm getting the numbers, right? The T, well, we just figured out 76 days. So we're going to use 76 divided by 360. 0.21111, which goes on almost forever. We're going to solve for R. R equals I divided by PT. I is 365.22. PT is 86,500. That's the P, multiplied by T, which is 0.211111. That gives us a total of 18,261.11. Now we go ahead and solve for that. $365.22 divided by 18,261.111. And that gives us a total of 0.02. Let's see if we have any. No, I guess it's 0.02. So according to my computations, the rate is 2%. Let's see what the book says. .02. Finally, we can solve for T. T is the unknown variable. If T is the unknown variable, the formula to solve for T is going to be I divided by PR. I divided by PR. So T is going to be equal to I divided by P times R. This is what I want to get. So just so that we're clear on finding time in days is going to be I divided by PR times 360. So I probably should adjust this formula here. We're going to have to put a big parentheses in here. Whatever that result is, and then we're going to multiply that by 360. That's for days. And for months, it's going to be the same formula, except it's going to be times 12. Let's take a look at this problem here. Roberta Sanchez deposited $18,600 in an account paying 3% and earned $217 in interest. Find the number of days that the deposit earned interest. Go ahead and pause and see if you can solve for it. All right, so we are given the deposit is $18,600. Make this the R now. So the deposit is $18,600. The rate is 0.03. And the amount of interest earned, $217. So according to our formula, I is 217, and then we're going to multiply the P times the R, and that's going to give us 558. We're going to take that divisor, and we end up with 0.389. Find the number of days, the 0.389, and multiply that by 360. And we come up with 140 days. Let's check. $140. That completes 9.2. We'll be moving on to 9.3 in the next video.